Sean Strickland will be fighting Dricus Du Plessis at UFC 312, and Sean has issued a warning to Dricus leading up to the fight. Let's check it out. Jared Cannonier thinks that Sean can handle Dricus, but he also believes that their first fight was a very close one. Jared stated, "The first one was close. I see Sean coming back with a bit more fire in his belly, but it was close last time. I think Sean did more damage last time as well. I think he's going to take that momentum that he did more damage and really try to close the deal in their next fight. If he catches Du Plessis off balance, maybe rushing in, catches him with a nice stiff jab or a counter slip jab or slip whatever, you know how he does his thing, puts him on his heels with his teeps and stuff and keeps the pressure on, I think Sean can get it done." Khamzat Chimaev thinks that Du Plessis really wants to hold onto his belt, while Sean is just fighting for the money, and Khamzat believes that will play a big part in the rematch.
I think early next year we're going to have Sean and Dricus Du Plessis again. Who do you think wins that fight?
I think now on it's going good for Du Plessis. I think he's more motivated, getting more money, and he's happy with that. So he will fight for his belt. So I think I go a little bit for that. Sean being there, and I don't think so he care about he wins, he lost, you know. So yeah, he just fight and have money.
Coach Eric Nixick has opened up about Sean's preparations, and he thinks that he's doing enough work to take the belt back. Eric stated, "He hates watching tapes, but it's like, dude, you want to win or not? I don't want to hear none of this. You don't want to watch this or that. We're trying to help you and show you these things." And then now it's about adapting him into sparring. He doesn't really drill. I've got him drilling now. Today, Dutch drills today. Come in. What a Dutch drill. It's reps, mother Ferrer. You're getting more and more reps. So we're trying to help you gain these reps, and then when your body is moving, doing these things that we're asking you to do, more apt to do it live. Man, I'll tell you what, we go back and watch the tape, we didn't do enough. And the things kept telling him, you fought Israel Adesanya with nothing to lose. You fought Dricus not to lose. Michael Bisping sat down with Robert Whittaker to talk about a potential rematch between Sean and Dricus, and it looks like Robert is siding with Dricus to retain his belt.
About that, my honest opinion, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think about it. If they want to punch on, let them punch on.
We know we saw the fight one time. I had Dricus winning it. It was a close fight though. If they were to fight again, who would you pick?
Dricus again.
Yeah.
I can't see what Strickland can do differently to change the outcome.
Being champion or getting a rematch and beating Dricus, what's more important to you? Because I know...
Being champion, for sure.
Being the champion.
Definitely.
Rather than avenging a loss.
Yeah, well, like, I'm not that caught up, hung up on things like that.
On your own ego.
Yeah, like, it happens. You have good days, you have bad days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Israel Adesanya is already hoping for a rematch against Sean if he wins against Dricus. And he stated, "I'm sure we will. I just didn't like the way that fight played out. Yes, it was his night. He beat me 5-0. The Dricus fight, I wasn't too worried about his performance there because I was doing well, then made a mistake and he capitalized. But with Strickland, I want to really fight him to the best of my ability. And then if he beats me, well done to him, but I know what I can do to the man." Chris Curtis really wants to see a rematch between the two fighters, and he thinks that Dricus is an effective fighter.
Two coked out chimpanzees in a phone booth, man. Like that's the Dricus fight. Like I think honestly, that's just how Dricus fights. It's like what do you do? Like you, and God, it's so funny because like everyone I know is always clowned on Dricus the way he fights. She's like it's fucking wild, but you know what? God damn, it's effective. It's people always ask like how is he doing this? And I tell people like it's like trying to learn to tango, but your partner doesn't know the moves. So you're like, what's happening? You're like, he's just doing shit that's not on beat. He doesn't know the moves. He didn't read the manual. Like, that's how it's hard to fight Dricus. You don't really know what he's doing. But as a fan of the sport, even without my personal investment in it, I really just want to see this play out because it's such an awkward clash of two really awkward, probably the two most awkward people in the division fighting each other. So like, there's a lot to take away from that. It's like the short bus special. Like I'm very excited.
Israel Adesanya also feels like Dricus is a very awkward fighter, and he stated, "If I'm going to give the edge to anyone, it'd be Dricus in that fight, even though Sean will definitely try and walk him down and get him worn out. But one thing about Dricus is he's just awkward. He would throw just to stop you in your tracks. There was one, I remember, when I sprawled on him and head hit the mat, I tried to kick him on the ground, and I was like, get up. and I advanced, and straight away, he just went, simulates a wild lunging haymaker, and I had to stop. So I stopped my momentum, and I had to reset. So he's just weird, man. He's like the best sword fighter in the world. He's so good. Cesar Almeida thinks that Strickland actually won the first fight against Dricus, and he stated, he deserves it. He works so hard. He's kind of crazy, but he's very honest. You know? And I see he's very motivated. Sean never stops training. He became champion and was back in the gym the next day to train. And that's what makes him a champion. I think he won the first Dricus fight, and I think he's coming back better this time. I think he gets the belt back. Sean is really looking forward to the upcoming rematch, and he thinks that he should have beat Dricus in the first fight if he wasn't dealing with a cut.
What do you think about that rematch?
I love it. I wanted that one. I didn't want Izzy. I would walk the busy. I love it, bro.
You
Again,
think Dricus is a tougher matchup for you? Because you
let me tell you, if it wasn't for that headbutt and cut, I would have walked through him. Watch that fight till the blood happened. I was living in the Matrix, bro. I was seeing everything. Yeah, and the reason why I lost 3 and 4 was the blood.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Du Plessis really thinks that Strickland is a very boring fighter, but he also believes that he's deserved his rematch. Dricus stated, nothing's changed. He looked boring like every other fight. Walking forward, jabbing and teeping. It wasn't an exciting fight. It wasn't a bad performance. It was the most normal performance from him ever. In our fight, I remember there was a stage in the fight where I was walking forward, but he just kept moving away, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna stand here. Maybe he gets the confidence to walk forward and we can punch it out. He just dropped his hands a little and said, cool. He has no problem with the crowd booing his fighting style. Unfortunately for me, I don't have that in me. I was 100% keen on the Strickland rematch the whole time. Everybody now says they wanted the Khamzat fight, but the same fans were the ones that called for the Strickland rematch as well, up until Khamzat had the performance against Rob that he did. I honestly felt that the Strickland rematch was warranted. Great, let's do it. And then after that Khamzat fight, that was the fight I wanted. And I think 90% of fans wanted. The UFC promised Strickland the fight, so this time they delivered on their promise. Sean has been very sore about losing the first fight, and he noted that plenty of other people believed that he won it.
Let me tell you something about the UFC. I deserve that rematch. If they don't give me that rematch, they're just not one of us. If they don't give me that rematch, understand it's for one reason and one reason alone. They want me to shut the up. So I won. Dana said I won. Rogan said I won. We all know I won. I went to Canada, you guys. I went to Canada and I fought in front of the commies, and they shafted me. Dricus wants it. I want it. Win your title like a man, my friend. You know you got to get from God. Let's run this shit back. Settle it like men.
Chael Sonnen was looking at another fight for Dricus, but he thinks there's a potential for a trilogy fight if Sean wins this rematch. Chael stated, do I believe Chimaev should be next? Yes, with the information I have now. But I'm going to get new information that I would like to be able to process the night that Strickland and Du Plessis fight. And not for nothing, if Strickland beats him, we've got to go into the trilogy match. The idea that Sean should somehow be happy. Thank you to the Twitter sphere for doing this. Thank you to Dana White and Hunter Campbell. FUX3, he took it. Sean Strickland hasn't been given a D in things since he got here, and the only things he has are the things that he took. Brad Tavares really felt like Sean won the first fight, and he's been pushing for a rematch.
Yeah, Sean and Dricus, or Dricus defends against Sean. I don't think this is me being biased, because myself, Dana White included, all felt like Sean won that first initial fight. So I was actually kind of surprised that he didn't get especially with Dana coming on and saying like, oh yeah, I felt like Strickland won that fight, that he didn't get the immediate rematch. But is what it is. The bus keeps going. But right now, I think that Sean deserves it.
Looking back at your fight with Dricus, and I know Dana said that he fights like a white guy dancing. Do you agree with that?
I mean, yeah, Dricus is one of those guys. I've said it before. Is like he doesn't. It doesn't look like it's supposed to work, but he makes it work. And credit to him for that.
Dricus has always seemed to want whatever the fans want, but he never thought that Sean would stand a chance if they met again.
No, I don't care about silencing the people. I need to hear the people if they're booing or cheering. I mean, you see tonight, this was the most electric crowd ever. They weren't cheering for me, but I mean, it was still amazing to be out there. It was that the crowd was insane. Going into that Strickland fight now, I know I've been in there with him. He can't handle what I have. Yeah, this time I can finish him. I mean, we saw it. Yeah, he beat Izzy. Now we have a comparison. That's how you finish someone.
Are you anticipating going through another fight like that where it could get pretty nasty in the lead up?
I don't know. I mean, does he want to cry again?
When the rematch was first talked about, Sean started making his demands on when and where the fight was going to happen, and he threw some love to the Australian people while commenting on their government's love for him. Sean stated, "I'm not fighting in Australia. We're thinking Vegas in March. I have a love for the Aussies, but I don't think your government likes me," which I take as a compliment. Hate speech isn't real, and he'll always speak up for my kangaroo homies. Freedom! Well, now Sean has issued a warning to Dricus with talks of a pact for the rematch.
Listen, Dutchman, I'm gonna need you to be a man. I'm gonna need you to stand up, not go to your knees, and we're gonna need to strike like men. I know you like to wrestle and you like to choke people out and do some dude, but I'll make a pact with you, you make a pact with me that we stand up like men and we settle this like men.
Dricus has already issued his response to Sean's pact offer, and he stated, "There are no pacts between lions and men." Want to keep watching more UFC news? Click the video on the screen.